Tonight we'd like to present to you a project that we have wanted to do regarding an organization at UA involved in community engagement every day.
The history of community engagement is rich and provides a convenient forum in which universities and communities seek to solve problems with which communities are involved.
Land-grant institutions started the trend in which universities tended to spend time working within their communities with applied research opportunities.
Roper and Hurst noted that schools, in keeping with tenure and promotion rules, focused on narrow theoretical concerns, and there seemed to be no discernible returns
to the communities in which they resided, but it was their own institutions in which they prided. Then, according to Budin, schools needed to look to give back to the communities from which they took.
In 2001, 3 universities decided it was community engagement in which they prided. The National Outreach Scholarship Conference was formed, and to that idea more schools then warmed.
NOFSC founders wanted engagement scholarship viable, with results considered to be reliable. And as solving community problems captured their devotion, these projects could count toward tenure and promotion.
Alabama joined NOFSC in 2008, and the provost's office thought it was great. After an engagement scholars workshop, they decided to start a similar group at UA.
The Center for Community-Based Partnerships hoped that they could interest the university community in the group scope, and that faculty, students, and administrators would engage, so UA would be more than just a sage on the stage.
Community service has been around for years to give students experience in different atmospheres. But how do these practical opportunities actually benefit the local communities?
Engagement scholarship can produce social change when the goals of research are rearranged to include community participation instead of just faculty and administration.
The bureaucratic structure of a university can stifle voices of diversity. Literature on engagement addresses faculty's role. But alas, for students, there is a big hole.
CCBP has noticed this gap and has tried to put students out there on the map. They sent them to NOFSC, where they could present their research, and so far a few dozen went.
Scope was created to help scholars who were interested in engagement and wanted to do research in the community and hoped to find a group of scholars who were of like mind.
Under CCBP, Scope is a part, but it is not listed on the organizational chart. This could be because it is new, with its leaders figuring out just what to do.
The steering committee is charged with planning workshops on campus with topics spanning from mentoring and writing proposal abstracts to getting IRB submission facts.
3 faculty, 4 grad students, and 1 undergrad are on this committee, for which they are glad. And working closely with these people, they do rejoice. But do the students in the group have an equal voice?
Perceptions of committee members' roles are one of our research project's goals. The voices of the students we'd like to discuss, so the research questions we're asking are thus:
how do the people on this committee see the role of the student members to be? How does the group communicate? Are there problems, or do they think it's great?
How does critical theory address the role of students? And before we digress, we disclose we're committee members of Scope, and to grow this group is what we hope.
We will interview the other members to see what communication patterns they remember of decision-making and other matters, and so that our talk doesn't get scattered, we will structure the interview with certain questions, and here's what we will do. We'll ask them about communication with faculty, students, and administration.
We'll ask open-ended questions so we can thickly describe this phenomenon and give readers a vibe of the roles of student members of Scope. In a published paper, we really hope. We thought we'd have results, but you see, we will first need approval from IRB.
Krosnick and Holland and Christian explained, good answers to open-ended questions can be gained by keeping the interview short and germane, and not including fillers that are simply inane.
Mustikas and Cresswell explained methodical ways to analyze data from a phenomenological gaze. We'll write self-descriptions and then set them aside, so most of our biases can go take a ride.
Significant statements will not overlap, and member checks should ensure that we are not writing crap. Textual and structural descriptions will then be combined to form a composite, and that is when we'll have a description of student roles to help to fill in the literature's holes.
This study, of course, is limited to Scope, but ideas could generalize, we certainly hope. And motivated participants that we interview should give us good answers on which we can chew.
With our participants, we'll find it essential to assure them their answers will be confidential. Pseudonyms will be used in any article we write, and all the data will be kept locked up tight. We won't use real names of people or schools, and we will follow IRB's rules.
We hope that this study will contribute to a part of the literature that before had been mute, about how critical theory addresses student groups who can be left out of decision-making of groups, but made to jump through faculty's hoops.
Other studies we would like to do involve other groups in the community who participate in engagement research, but in decision-making may be left in the lurch.
In academia, it may be the time for engagement scholarship to be the next paradigm. So it is important for more voices to be heard, so people don't think research is just for nerds.
We hope we've informed you about our study, but if anything we've said seems to be muddy, before the end of our time gets nearer, please ask us to make it clearer.
So, now that we've finished the class in OrgComm, which we have survived with aplomb, we thank you for listening and remaining upright. Happy research to all, and to all a good night.